Hello guys, in this new tutorial we will see slicers. Slicers are nothing but interactive filters which can be used to filter your report, your maps, your charts, anything. So there are only one slicer but there are many topics in that slicer. So what I have done is I have given different names of that topics. Now what are the topics we will be seeing in this section is we will see how to create a slicer for text. We will format that particular slicer. Same, we will see date slicer and then format part for date slicer, and lastly we will see how to work on number slicer. Along with these topics, I'll show you what are the real-time challenges people face, where this can be used and how easily we can use it. Let us see how to work on slicer for text. We have one slicer in Power BI, but it can be used for different purposes for text, date, numbers. Here is the slicer I can show you. This is a slicer in the Power BI visualization. So if I click on this slicer and I will just resize, I can put here category into this box and you can see there are the slicers created. Now for having those slicers, we need to have some charts or visuals. Then only it would be more effective. So what I will do is I'll create a simple table for subcategory sales. So I'll pick up subcategory sales into values. So now if I select the option furniture from this box, you can see only furniture related subcategories are visible. If I click on office supplies, only office supplies values are visible here. If you select more than one option, you have to press Ctrl click from a keyboard. Ctrl click, normal click will not work. You have to press Ctrl click and then you can select multiple values from here. If you want to clear the filter, you can click on this button, clear section, and it will clear the filter. Suppose if I select technology, I can click on clear filter and it will go away. Okay, that's very simple creating a text slicer. Now suppose if I want to add one more level in that, let's say subcategory below that. So I drag subcategory and drop below the category in this slicer. Okay. Now you can see there's a small change and there's a small drop down which has come on the left hand side. So if you click on that small drop down, you can see that particular technology has different subcategories. If I expand this furniture, you can see bookcases, chairs, furnishings and tables. These are different subcategories which are present. So you can keep on adding different levels. So let's say I can add here segment and region below subcategory. So you can see on creating multiple hierarchies, if I click on furniture, if I click on bookcases, if I click on home office, so you can see this hierarchy is created. So no need of creating separately. This is by default in the newer versions, right? Now I'll just keep only two categories and subcategory. So suppose if I only want bookcases, I just click on bookcases and on the right hand side you can see bookcases are visible. I can select chairs or furnishings and something. If I want entire furniture, I can select this furniture option. Okay, so hierarchies not need to create, you can automatically click. So I'll just remove this and I'll one more slicer, text slicer. Suppose I'll create a slicer for state and city. So I'll drag the state option here and drag this city option into the box. If I expand, you can see that particular state is having many cities over there. So I minimize, let's say about Montana. If I expand this, you can see these are all cities which are present in, and then you can select and find out like in this particular city. What are the sales? What are the sales by subcategory? So not only this, you can filter the entire report itself using this one single slicer. Let me show you with one more chart here. So I'll create simple pie chart for region and sales. So if I select New Mexico, you can see the value. This value will change. In fact, all the whatever charts and visuals are present in this page will be changed. If you want to clear filter, you can always click on this clear button and filter will go away. Creating and deleting is very easy, modifying. So that's it. I hope you have understood how to create a simple slicer in Power BI. So let's see how to format a text slicer. So first of all, I'll create a simple slicer. So first, I just copy last visuals. So it is nothing, that is simple charts which I have created. Now I want to add a slicer and I want to format it so it becomes more easy to filter for end users. Suppose I want to create a slicer for category. So I click on slicer button and I can drag the category and drop it into slicer. So this is a slicer, but it looks like very simple and very raw. Nothing is there. So let's make it more interesting. First of all, we will use the method for selecting multiple values. If you want to select multiple values, you have to press Ctrl click. Now the client or the end user might not be the smarter in Power BI to press Ctrl and click. So we can go to this format option and there's an option selection. So here we just disable that multiple selection with Ctrl. We can have to disable that. Now you can see using the simple click the person unselect and deselect. Okay. Next, when the slicer looks very boring, if you want to make it more interesting, you can just go to the format option. So here's the style is vertical. I select tile. So what happens is I can customize this way. So it gives me a very good feel. Slicer, I can click on technology and office supplies, and so it gives you a very good feel. Slicer. I can click on technology and office supplies and deselect and select. You can see it's very easy now. So when it is darker, that means it is selected. Right now technology is selected, rest two are deselected. And one more, let's see, one more I'll create for state. So I can click on this slicer and drag state over here. Then we go this format option and in style we have a option is drop down. So that's a slicer for the state. I know all the states are not visible, so you can click on this small button to see the another state. Now you can select any one state and that gives you detail about the state only. Okay. Now if you want to change the color, background color, border, everything can be customized in this format pane. Let's say if I want to change the color, I can go to the values and I make it as black and I'll make the background as a blue. So this is how a slicer will look like. So it becomes very cool and easy for the end user to select. Let's say there are many more options which you can figure out like borders, border shadow and so on. So slowly, gradually, once you practice, you will come to know. Okay? But for the time being, I hope you have understood how to format the text slicer. Let's see how to work on date slicer in Power BI. It is very useful slicer. Let us see. I'll click on slicer button and I drag date data field. When I drag and drop, you can see what happens. I will be getting a date in DDYY format. Okay, that's a format here and I can scroll and filter the dates. But to scroll that, let me just create some table over here. I'll click on this table, put here order date and I'll put here sales. Now I can just select the minimum date from here and I can select the maximum date from here. Okay, so I can filter those based on exact dates DDYY. So this would be between the dates minimum to maximum and given me all the dates between. So observe here we have the dates starting from 22 July 2014 and you can see 22 July 2014. Maximum date 4/11/16 which will be at the bottom. So you can filter quickly. Now if you don't want, you can click on this clear filter. That's very easy, and if you want, you just go to the format option and here is the option is style and you can just click on this drop down and these are the different options you can play. These are like cosmetic options. This one is selected between, that means between maximum to minimum. If you select the option before, the first box will get disabled. Only the second box is enabled here. One more thing, that is you can click on the box inside and a calendar would appear, where it is very easy for you to navigate to that date particularly. So I can just click on that December, select July, I can click on 2017 and select the option 2016 and select some day from here. So this will get filtered, and other method is you can manually type here. That is also one method. If I click on vertical list button, I'll be getting list of all the dates in that date slicer. So manually I can use a checkbox, or using control click I can select the values here. The other option in I can select the drop down. I can select only whichever date I want. So using this drop down, you can save lot of space, right? So again, I click here small drop down, and here is a relative date option. Relative date is again very important. Suppose if I want to see the date only for last 10 years, so I can click on this last 10, and from this drop down select year. So if you have seen my video on filter, you will understand the filters and cards. I have taken this topic there. So I'll select the option year from here, and you can see last 10 years. So the date is starting from 2015. I am recording the video on February 2025. And so it's showing us 10 years back. Not only years, you can select month, weeks, days, many options are there. And not only the last, next, this month, this day, this week, you can select the option. That's very simple filter over here. Now I'll just remove that filter and I'll move it aside. So there's one more type of filter which would be required. So I'll just create one more slicer here, and in this slicer, I'll put the same field which is order date into that box. So I drag and drop the order date in the date format is YY. Suppose you only want either year, quarter or month, you can click on this small drop down, and here is the option date hierarchy. Click on this. Here if you see year, quarter, month, day, all the years will be visible. You can keep on expand inside 2014. If you want quarter 1, you can select quarter 1 over here. Inside quarter 1, if you want some specific month, you can select January. Okay, that's very simple to filter using hierarchy option. So that's it. I hope you have understood how to work on date slicer in Power BI. Let's see how to format date slicer. We have seen how to create, but formatting is also required. So I'll click on slicer, bring order date. This is in the MMDDYY format. I can click on this drop down and convert into date hierarchy. So it is not look good at this slicer. Why not make it as a box? So if I go to this format option and click on style button, and right now if you have seen in text slicer, you have seen how to change the alignment vertical and tiles. So right now the option is not visible. Now you go this selection control, you can also click on this select all option. That means sometimes we want to select all buttons. So I can click on select all, and all the checkbox will be selected. The other part would be changing the background. So if I click on background, I can change the background color. Font should be changed, and here we have not seen title properly. So we just go to the format option, go to the general, and here is the option title. Enable this, and I type here title as year sales and enter, and you can see we have a title here. So all the cosmetic option would be visible here in the format itself. And here is another option, show headers. Enable this, you can see they show us year, month and days. So that's very simple formatting a date slicer. So I hope you have understood how to format a date slicer in Power BI. Let us see how to create a number slicer in Power BI. So I'll create a table for customer, sales, quantity. The question here is, I want to find out how many customers have bought quantity 3 or 4 quantity or 5 quantity. So for that, I'll click on outside, click the slicer button, and I drag here one column name as quantity. So it will tell me the minimum quantity what people ordered in one and maximum quantity what people have ordered is 1000. If you want to find out people have bought between 1 to 3 quantity, I'll type here as 1 in minimum, maximum 3. Enter. So there are all the customers who have bought between 1 to 3 quantity. So if you want, let's say 12 to 14, now I'm going to the higher range 12 to 14 quantity. So I can type here as 12. Maybe I can scroll here. That's it. More easy. So this would be all the customer who have bought in whole or in bulk amount. Okay. These are all the customers, so I can pay more attention to them. One more example I'm getting, but sometime if you want to find out a list, you just go to the format option. Here is a style. Scroll down and you can just click on this vertical list. Will give you all the quantities which are 14 quantities. Now I can select who are the customer who have ordered 14 quantities. So I just click on 14. You can see the customers which they have 14 quantities. So I hope you have understood how to work on number slicer in Power BI. So I hope you have understood how to work on slicers like text slicer, number slicer, date slicer, and how to format the slicers. If you have any queries, please post them in the comment box.